Ever get that feeling like, whoa, the world is changing crazy fast? Like you blink and suddenly robots are making your coffee, that you're writing your screenplay?
It's a lot, right?
Well, buckle up, because today's deep dive is all about that feeling. You sent us an incredible compilation of machinery, and let me tell you, my mind is officially blown.
Yeah.
We're talking everything from like mind-bogglingly fast vegetable choppers to machines that can peel a coconut in a flash.
And it's not even just the speed or like the tasks themselves. It's the sheer ingenuity on display, you know? Each one of these machines, it's like a creative solution to a real world problem.
So exactly, like
Right.
take lane bricks, right? I mean, I watched in awe as this one machine just effortlessly placed a whole row, perfect spacing, the works. It's like watching a master craftsman, but on a whole other level of like precision and speed.
And what's so fascinating is how that one invention, it kind of speaks to this whole bigger trend, you know? Like we're entering this age of automation big time, especially in fields like construction, manufacturing. Makes you wonder, how's this going to reshape industries, the jobs people have, everything?
Feels like stepping into the future, doesn't it?
Totally.
And speaking of the future, get ready to have your mind blown. You send over this clip of a zucchini slicer. And I'm not exaggerating, it is mesmerizing. It turned those zucchinis into these like perfect wafer-thin slices. I swear it was the blink of an eye.
It's the precision, too, not just speed. That machine, it probably uses a mandolin-like mechanism. Super precise cuts, you know, those are tough to do by hand, even for a pro. It really shows you the advantage of bringing in these engineering marvels for certain tasks, you know.
And the efficiency. Don't even get me started. Speaking of which, remember those like oddly satisfying videos of perfectly smooth concrete?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got a double-spouted cement pouring system in the mix today. I'm talking the coordination was incredible. It moved like a well-choreographed dance or something.
That's a great way to put it. But you're right, that machine shows you the power of, like, coordinated action. Even in something as, you know, seemingly simple as pouring concrete, smooth, even finish crucial for those big construction projects. And yeah, it's pretty mesmerizing to watch.
Right. And while we're on the topic of mesmerizing, prepare to be amazed by craftsmanship on a whole nother level, right? This next one, it's a machine, and it's shaping wooden spoons with like such detail. Almost hypnotic to watch, honestly.
It is. It really makes you appreciate the artistry in not just the machine itself, but also the task it's doing, you know? Like shaping a wooden spoon, it's not just carving wood. It's about understanding the grain, how much pressure to apply, the exact shape you want. This machine, it replicates that entire process, and it's crazy accurate.
It had me questioning everything I knew about spoons, but it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
You also included a machine, get this, that takes square blocks of wood and turns them into these perfectly smooth spheres.
That one's wild. The precision to pull that off is unreal. It makes you think about how far manufacturing has come. These tools, they let us make things that back in the day would have taken forever or even been impossible, you know, not on a big scale anyway.
It's like watching magic happen right in front of you.
Right.
But speaking of magic, let's talk about a different kind of transformation, the kind that turns trash into treasure, right? Shifting gears now, we're talking about recycling. You sent over this machine that can compact a mattress, like in seconds.
Oh yeah, that one's important. This is about tackling real-world problems now. Landfills overflowing, we need solutions. This machine, it's about compacting, repurposing stuff, you know, stuff that would take up tons of space otherwise.
I gotta say, it was kind of unnerving seeing that mattress shrink down like that. Talk about efficient, though.
It's that efficiency that's pushing us towards a circular economy. We're talking about reducing waste, like every step of the way, from how a product's designed to how it's made, used, even how it's disposed of.
It all ties together.
Exactly.
And speaking of tying it all together, let's talk about another recycling marvel. This one is a machine that can, get this, shred metal barrels. Like super fast, too. Like I'm talking, it was like watching a metal-eating monster in action.
Intense, right. But think about this is about turning waste into a resource, you know? Instead of those barrels just ending up in a landfill somewhere, boom, they're raw material for something new.
The possibilities, right? Honestly, it's amazing. It makes you realize how much ingenuity is out there tackling everything from those like everyday things to these huge global challenges.
It's true. But, you know, it's not just about the machines themselves, right? It's about the human ingenuity behind them. Someone had to dream these things up, design them, build them, make them work.
That's a really good point. It makes you wonder, what does this level of like ingenuity mean for the future of work? Like, what skills are we going to need? It's a big question, for sure.
It is a big question, and one we're only just starting to grapple with, but one thing's for sure, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
You got that right. And we've only just scratched the surface. Get ready for even more mind-blowing machines, because we're diving into part 2 after the break.
It's wild, right? Like, these machines, they kind of mess with your sense of time.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, did that just happen that fast?
So one minute we're watching a mattress shrink to the size of a suitcase, and the next we're like completely hypnotized by this machine, like lovingly crafting a wooden spoon. It's a trip.
It really shows you the range of what these machines can do, right? And it's not always about being the fastest either. It's about that precision, efficiency. Remember that coconut peeling machine from earlier? Zip through those coconuts, no problem?
Oh man, that thing was a beast. I swear it was faster than like a whole team of coconut peeling ninjas.
Right, and while we're talking speed and precision, we get handed to that pavement smoothing machine. That thing was massive.
It was like watching a giant Roomba just gliding over that asphalt, leaving it perfectly smooth. The scale of it was impressive, for sure. Think about all the engineering that goes into something like that, right? A machine that big, that precise. It shows you how far we've come with robotics and automation. Like, it's changing how we do construction, big time.
No doubt. Speaking of changing how we do things, that chicken cubing machine, that one really got me, like, poof, whole chicken to perfectly diced, ready to cook.
It's magic, right?
Straight up magic.
But that one's a good example of how automation is changing, like, the food industry. It's not just about speed. It's about consistency, being hygienic, all those things that are super important when you're talking about the food we eat.
Right, of course. And that machine that shapes metal with what looks like a laser, the detail on those parts was insane.
Oh yeah, that was probably a laser cutter. They're incredible. They can make such intricate designs, custom components, and on a pretty big scale too, which is really cool. It's like this bridge between the old way of doing things, that real craftsmanship, and modern manufacturing.
Totally. Speaking of modern and efficient, did you see that box folding package packing machine? It was going at like warp speed. Yeah. Talk about a game changer for anyone who's ever had to pack a ton of boxes, right?
No kidding. That's automation revolutionizing things like logistics and shipping. Those machines, they streamline everything, make it so much faster to get stuff from point A to point B. Like, think about it. It's why online shopping is so fast now. You order something and boom, it's at your door.
It really makes you appreciate the whole system,
Totally.
It's amazing, all these machines, these processes, how they all connect. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. But, as much as I love seeing how fast and efficient everything is, some of these machines, they're not just practical,
Yep.
They're almost like works of art.
Oh, absolutely. Like that machine that carves perfect spheres out of those square blocks of wood.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pure artistry and engineering combined. It makes you think, as we make these machines that are more and more complex, what happens to human creativity, to good old-fashioned craftsmanship? Do we find new ways to work together, these machines and us? Or do they, do they eventually get so good that they can create better than us? It's a big question, and I don't think there's an easy answer.
Yeah, it's deep. It's kind of like a little bit exciting, a little bit scary, all at the same time,
Definitely. But it just goes to show being able to adapt, that's going to be key. Technology changes. We got to change with it, learn new skills, look at things in a new way. Adaptability, that's going to be huge going forward.
No doubt. It's not enough to just be amazed by the machines, right? We got to understand what they mean, how they're going to change things, the good, the maybe not so good. And speaking of things that need changing, let's talk about sustainability. We've seen some cool machines tackling things like waste and recycling, but there's so much more to uncover,
For sure. We're just getting started, really, when it comes to sustainable technology. And in the next part of our deep dive, that's where we're headed. We're going to explore some seriously groundbreaking stuff, inventions that are going to blow your mind, and help make the planet a little greener. Get ready for it.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like all this incredible technology, it's amazing, but we got to be smart about it, right? Make sure we're using it for good.
100%. And that's what makes this whole sustainability thing so important. It's not just about cool gadgets. It's about our responsibility to the planet,
Totally. And one machine that I gotta say really got me thinking along those lines was that thing that takes plastic waste, shreds it all up, melts it down, turns it into these reusable pellets. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a game changer for sure. We're talking about a real solution to the whole plastic waste crisis, right?
Yeah.
Instead of it ending up in landfills, oceans, all that, it gets a second life. We need more of that.
Seriously.
Yeah,
It's like hitting the reset button, turning a problem into, like, a resource.
mm,
Gives me hope, you know?
absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. It's about resources. That technology, it's all about that circular economy thing, keeping materials in use, as long as possible, less waste, less taking from the planet. It's a whole new way of thinking about things.
Love it. And you know what else really impressed me? How about that vertical farm setup? It's like farming in a skyscraper. Who knew?
Right. Talk about maximizing space. Vertical farming, it's huge. Land's getting scarce, climate change is messing with traditional farming. But this way, you use less land, less water, you can grow food closer to where people live, so less transportation, less pollution. It's a win-win-win,
It
really.
really is. It's like they took the idea of a farm and just flipped it on its side, made it work for the modern world. So cool. You know, all these machines, they show you what we can do when we really put our minds to it. Not just like how to do things better, but how to make a real difference.
It's all about that human ingenuity.
Yeah,
It's not the machines themselves, it's the people behind them. The ones who dream it up, design it, make it a reality. That's what inspires me.
couldn't agree more. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It's a glimpse into the future, all these incredible inventions, but it also makes you think, what's next? What other problems can we solve? It's like, this is just the beginning.
Exactly. And that's the thing. The future isn't set in stone, right? We get to shape it. We have the power to decide like what kind of world we want to live in. And hopefully it's one where we're using all this amazing tech to make things better for everyone, for the planet, for the future.
Perfectly said. So as we wrap things up here, we want to leave you with this. What would you intend?
Mm.
If you could create any machine, anything at all, to make the world a better place, what would it be? Think about it. And hey, who knows? Maybe your idea will be the next big thing we feature right here on the Deep Dive. Until next time, keep those imaginations running wild.